Hey y'all, how's it going? It's been a while. It's been about 2 weeks now, plus a few days. I just came back from vacation and I came back with the flu or COVID. I don't know, haven't been tested. But yeah, I'm back and I'm here voicing the new episode of the Chakram Hex build where we last left off in Monsoon. But yeah, I just came back from Spain. I had a great trip. I was with my grandfather and my girlfriend. And yeah, we were there for about 2 weeks. Spent a lot of money, but I had a lot of fun. I'm always glad to be able to have the chances to see the world and whatnot. If you all have not been to Spain, would definitely recommend it. Yeah. So where we last left off and outward was basically we just enchanted our chakram. So now our main weapon and our offhand will deal all of the hexes that we can. Meaning we now deal the fire, frost, lightning, or sorry, decay and haunted debuffs, the hexes. The only debuff slash hex we are not able to inflict on this build without additional help is the lightning hex debuff. But you know what? 4 out of 5 is not bad. With everything being said, I was about to leave Monsoon and explore when I realized that I'm going to do a quick stop in Harmattan slash the Antique Plateau. Loading into the Harmattan City, we do get teleported to the DLC mission, and we now start the timer for it, which is unfortunate because I didn't want to do the quest this early on. But it is fine because I will be able to get the quest done little bits here and there. And the main objective right now was just kind of collecting some more items, some more gear. I'm pretty sure at this point in time in the build, I decided that I'll probably get some more elemental particles for enchanting, as well as kill a couple shield golems for the shield golem scraps to either make the chest piece and the boots, or the chest piece itself. The chest piece will be our main armor piece for this run. And the head and boots I still have not decided yet. But at this point, we're now able to kind of see what the Chakram Hex build is able to do. And there you have it. There's kind of the first showcase of what this build can semi-do. With the sword, it takes about 3 to 4 hits to inflict the 2 hexes, and with the chakram, it's about the same, about 3 to 4 hits. So as long as we're consistent with it, it should be fine with applying those hexes, and then just making sure I have enough mana, just continue with Torment and Rupture. The build is honestly, it's pretty fun. This was I think this was maybe the 4th or 5th build I ever made, and when I first played Outward, and I had a lot of fun with it. It was just so unique, and I liked the idea of mixing kind of the two ideas of a hex build and a chakram build together, and it performs honestly quite well. Yeah, you could probably min-max it with other builds a little better, but this one, I've been having a lot of fun with it. But yeah, so right now in Harmattan, we're just going to go to all of the sites that I remember to where the elementals are. That way we can kill them, hopefully get lucky with a couple more particles, just because they're good to have for when you get inflicted with, Tainted and the other decay meter shit. But it's also good to have because we still need to enchant our headpiece, chest piece, and boots. As well as our main weapon. Our main weapon, the Astral Sword, we'll probably enchant it with Poltergeist, just because it only has access to the 4 default enchantments, the 2 from New Sirocco, Fulmination, and Mulpig's Eye that do the lightning and ethereal damage, as well as Poltergeist and Whiplash. The reason why we're going to be enchanting it with Poltergeist is literally just so that we have the self-repair on the sword, since we'll be using it a little bit more often than the chakram, just because it's our main weapon in our hand. The self-repair is just a nice little touch to it. But yeah, that's kind of the mission for now. After, you know, looting everything at the Clockwork Tower area, the place full of the corruption, I always run kind of southeast to get to the Leyline Water Lake here. If you use, you know, the Cabal Hermit skill tree, you know, you always get the Wind Tower unlocked first, but after that, I always like to just go here because there's a chance to spawn some ethereal elementals. You know, if you're looking for the Bozu pack, the Bozu spawn here pretty well. And then afterwards, once I loot everything or kill everything that I need to, I always run into the destroyed test chambers, as there is a whole bunch of fire elementals and frost elementals for each chance at having their particles. I always just say that's probably one of the better spots to go farming for elemental particles. But yeah, now that we're here, you get to see me almost die a few times because, you know, combat is outward combat, and sometimes you're good with it, sometimes you're bad with it. Honestly, this is probably the best reason to why I love the Astral Sword there. Just sword moveset in general. It's so aggressively defensive if you kind of understand what that means. Because the attack into special attack, side attack there, it's one of my favorite things to do in this game. Because you win. It's the win button. But yeah, we get into more thick oil, which is still good, a couple elemental particles, and a purifying quartz. So we actually are able to make the advanced form for enchanting when we need to. Always really good. Decided not to take my backpack off for this because, you know, sometimes you just need to play the hard way. And we get infected with the Leyline Wilts. Yeah, so now all of our magical spells and anything that uses mana is way more cost effective. Or not cost effective, costs more. So yeah, that kind of sucks to get, but at the same time you take less elemental damage, so it's like kind of like a weird debuff. Definitely one of my favorite. It's very creative, really good for like a non-mage, but really bad for a mage. I hope Outward 2 kind of continues with some more interesting debuffs like that, because what other game could you say a debuff can also help you? It could also be, you know, beneficial. It's very unique. But yeah, after we kill those guys and we kill our next elemental here, they have like no impact bar, so you can always like instantly stagger them. Get another fire particle, which is really good. I make the biggest mistake here by not grabbing the key, as you'll see later on in the video that I have to pay for my mistake. But we notice that it's time to fight the second shield golem. What is your guys' least favorite enemy to fight? In my opinion, it is these regular shield golems, or whatever you'd call them. I hated fighting them ever since I needed to get the, what is it, that fire staff? The Clockwork Fire Staff from the Arbiter Desert. Dude, the sprint attack is so scary, especially when they have, like, double impact on you. But yeah, those are my least favorite enemies to fight. Let me know you guys' most hated common enemies are. But yeah, this fight was a little weird. I played it way too defensively, to be honest with you. But you know what? Sometimes you just gotta play a little more defensively. With the couple X's we have on him, we just decide to cheese him behind a wall. As, you know, safety is key. And I also didn't want to get killed. After realizing it was taking way too long, I finally get the balls to go up to the shield golem, kill him normally, and we get another thing of loot. I'm pretty sure that guy has will always drop a purifying quartz, if I remember correctly. I feel like he has a better at least a better chance of dropping them. But yeah, now that we're down here, we catch a cold. We kill everything else that's down here. It's just these Golem boys and the elementals. So we cross the bridge here, and we kill the last remaining ones before we are leaving this dungeon. And with the last elemental dead, we check our loots, getting another frost elemental particle. And this is when I realized my mistake of, I don't have the key, so we have to make our way all the way back up, going to the other side to where the troglodytes were, and then getting the key there. So yeah, I have to pay for my mistakes. Make sure when you're doing this dungeon, you always grab the key first, because otherwise you're going to have to do what I'm doing without the fast forwarding. But yeah. So we slowly make our way back around where we will be killing the trogs, as well as getting the ornate chest and other loot down below. I probably should have interacted with this fight a little better, as my main plan was to kill the elemental first, but then I changed my mind to the poison trogs. I kind of just get hit by almost everything here. Yeah, but because of the lay wilt that we have, we actually, as you can see, we barely take any elemental damage. We are inflicted with dots from the poison, and we could have been inflicted with burning as well, but we did get lucky. We just M1 spam to win, and we take everything down that we need to, while then finally taking an antidote from the backpack. And look at that, we now have the train key, so we can actually go all the way back down to open up the train station stops, so that we can fast travel to all the other locations needed. But before we do that, we're going to wail and kill everything as well as going over to the other side here where the other two trogs are. And yeah, after this, we'll have to make the long trek down to open the gate, as well as then going to a different dungeon. Honestly, this is a great example of why I love one-handed swords, just because you can spam mouse 1 to special and you basically just dodge everything. It doesn't always work, of course, but trogs are very, very easy to just spam that against. Still gotta be careful though, especially now since I had the pain and confusion debuffs. Like being hit by those blue trogs would have done, probably could have knocked me on my ass and did a decent amount of damage, because I still don't have that good of armor. We get super lucky there, and we get the Wolf Medic Mask, which I know a lot of people hunt for and wait for the Troglodyte Merchant to eventually spawn it in her inventory. So we get very lucky with that. Potentially, maybe that's what we use as our helmet, but I don't know. That's maybe that's a decision for you guys. Just yeah. So we take the long elevator ride down. And we backtrack all the way to the train station command console that we were at before. And once we reach it in just a few seconds, we finally open up the train station gate, meaning that we can now fast travel to a lot more destinations and areas. I think I turned that corner every single playthrough, and there's never loot behind there. But my brain always instinctively just goes, there should be loot here. Yeah, so we spawn in the living quarters, which is actually not where I wanted to go to. I'll change destinations here in a bit, because the gate's locked. So, seeing as we don't have the living quarters key because we went to the wrong spawn, we just loop back around the train station and we head to the Foundry. Yeah, so back in the Foundry, this was actually one of the first times I went to the Foundry backwards. Normally I go from top to bottom. This time we're looping backwards, bottom to top. This is where I get probably one of the biggest jump scares of my life. You'll see it in just a bit here. But yeah, we loot, and I have to figure out my way backwards, which is always weird in your head. But kind of once you figure out where to go, there's only those rusty shield golem boys and the other ones, so it's not too scary to be down here until you get to this part. So it was right about here where I shit my pants. He came in like a goddamn horror movie villain, like, hey bro, what's up? Completely forgot that he actually spawns there. But as soon as I kind of get some of my mana back and I have Brace, we are able to wail on him pretty hard. This is probably my arch nemesis. This enemy type is my arch nemesis of this current build, just because I've died to them so many times. But we get the stagger down, and unfortunately I was going to use Torment Rupture here, but I did not have enough mana because the lay wilt consumption. So this time instead I just decide to Brace and stagger and M1 spam until he's dead. What was your guys' opinions with the those kind of like unique area bosses dropping the endgame loot craftables? I honestly, personally, I think it was a good change, just because I've always been a fan of having everything available to you before you beat the entire game to be able to get access to the content. So, for example, the Caldera skills, unless you have a friend or somebody online that's willing to help you out, you can only get the Caldera passive or active skills after you've built the entirety of Caldera, or New Sirocco, which requires you to beat your entire story mission, and that leaves you with the rest of the Sirocco quest line, and excuse me. And if you haven't done the Soroborian's quest line, it gives you, I guess, access to that. But yeah, I've never been a fan of endgame content, or not even endgame content, just a whole bunch of content being locked into the endgame. I hope Outward 2 doesn't have as bad as a locked progression as that, just because I like to have everything at my arsenal. But I digress. So we looping all the way back around. We get into another fight here. So we get hit by the dog again, and as you can see, we are now less than 25% of our health left. As good as our offense is right now, you always need to make sure you have some sort of a defense. With the golem killed, we get access to another key. We get some other good loot there in the chest, as well as being over encumbered, because loot goblin be loot goblin, picking stuff up without picking up my backpack first. But yeah, now we trudge back up, getting another golem down. The broken golems are so much easier to fight than the regular ones, and these ones can be basically just cheesed. We get another important key from that red golem there, and we are now able to leave this dungeon once we find our way around. I will say, no matter how many times I play this game, and no matter how many times I've done the same dungeons, I will always still get lost. I have horrible map geology rocks. I don't know what the word I'm trying to find here is, but y'all can tell me. But even when I'm driving like downtown or something, I need Google Maps because I have fucking horrible directional. I'm directionally challenged. There you go. Yeah, so we get another good showcase of the build here with the Rock Mantis. Now, in reality, I should have ran up to him there because I could have actually had him staggered on the ground first. But with that, we now have all 4 hexes on the Rock Mantis at once. And yet again, because of Lay Wilt, we don't have enough mana, but we do now to get the final blam, 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 blam. And that was only 2 of the 4 hexes that ruptured on him. So, yeah, our offense is actually really, really solid now. The main objective of the next episode will probably just be, well, continuing where I left off, as well as getting some better armor. We got to get our main weapon and our armor enchanted as well. But until then, we will loot everything we can here and leave the dungeon to start heading back to New Harmattan. Not New Harmattan. Yeah, I guess, you know what, it is New Harmattan. There was an old Harmattan. Finally leaving the dungeon, we are back in the Antique Plateau by night, which has, in my opinion, the best original soundtrack created for Outward. I adore this soundtrack so much. But before we can listen to more of it and admire it more, you gotta see what I do here. Almost dying to fall damage, I decide to use my many supplies of bandages to heal when I'm not paying attention, and we get fucking destroyed. Goddamn, man came out of nowhere like a goddamn assassination contract for my head. But yeah, we die, and we got to now leave through this dungeon. You thought the dungeon call was over? No, it's not. We just got to go through a different one. I made probably a huge mistake there by dropping my backpack on the upper level, as after I kill these guys, I fall down, leaving myself stranded to my backpack, and I have to run all the way around the dungeon again to have access to it. Meaning, if I die, or sorry, I don't have any access to any healing items. So I have to play relatively defensively. Fire Sigil still holding amazing value as it does. And this is where I make the biggest mistake of my life by getting poisoned. So I just ignore all of the enemies, beelining straight to my backpack as a race against time, where I finally am able to use a healing potion and I survive from being poisoned. After almost dying in this dungeon, I treat this fight so defensively, getting one hit at a time, just waiting and waiting for my hexes to finally apply to him, as I didn't want to take any risks. I didn't want to die again. So after slowly attacking the Trog, I finally get the debuffs on him, and we are finally able to blow him up, getting access back to our backpack. And we are on our way back home. Unfortunately, because we didn't have the living quarters key to unlock the cage, we are not able to free the merchant troglodyte just yet. But yeah, we make our way back to the very front of the dungeon, to where we are finally able to leave the dungeon. And this time, hopefully without any more mishaps, we can make our way back to Harmattan. So yeah, like I said before we entered all the dungeons, this is probably one of my favorite spots to go first in the DLC, just because, you know what, elementals, Bozu, if you farmed a vampiric weapon, there's a vampiric altar there to, you know, after you finally fill that enchantment, you can get it there. The Cabal of Wind Tower is just right outside of that lake. It's the best spot to go first. And then the Destroyed Test Chambers dungeon, the first one, is one of the first dungeons you have to do anyways. So props to Outward for really good map location and map area design. God, I do that a lot. My bad. But yeah, we make our way around the clock tower, heading ourselves straight north so we can enter Harmattan again. So after reaching Harmattan again, we talked to the merchants to sell some of the loot we grabbed, as well as heading back to the blacksmith, where we had asked him a full 24 hours ago to build us a chest piece. And we now have a piece of armor that can actually protect us against enemy attacks. Wow. Hopefully we don't die as much in the next couple episodes. But yeah, we'll be enchanting that chest piece with economy in the next episode or next one. But that will do it for today's episode, guys. I hope you enjoyed. I hopefully won't be sick for the next episode. But yeah, I'll catch you all later.